Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today's topic is Options Greeks Explained. What is theta? And how can I avoid options time decay? Alright, so the specific Greek that we'll be discussing today is theta, also known as time decay. And if you're an options purchaser, if you buy calls or if you buy puts, we all know that, or at least we should know that theta is not our friend. It can be our enemy if we're the owner of a call or a put. So how can we avoid it? How can we minimize the effects of time decay? Let's talk about it. First, a quick definition or review. What is theta? Well, theta is how much value an option, a call or a put, will lose each day due to time decay. Theta is generally expressed as a negative number. So for example, an option with a theta of negative 0.15 will lose 15 cents per day due to time decay, which equals $15 per day if you own one option contract. Because remember, one option contract is the equivalent of 100 shares of the stock or ETF or commodity or currency or whatever. Like other options Greeks, theta constantly changes. Just because the theta of an option is negative 0.15 today doesn't mean that it will be that number tomorrow or even in 5 minutes for that matter. It's constantly changing. And I put a picture of a melting ice cube because that's what theta does to your option, to your call or put contract. It gradually, in the beginning, it gradually eats away at the value or reduces the value or price of your option contract. And as we get closer to expiration, the expiration date, it melts even faster. So what can we do in order to minimize the effects, the negative effects of theta or time decay when we purchase an option? We cannot avoid time decay's negative effects completely, of course, especially as we get closer to expiration. Theta is going to have a greater and greater negative impact on our purchased options. But here are 4 things we can do in order to at least minimize or reduce the negative effects of theta when we purchase an option. The first point is that shorter term options tend to have higher theta than longer term options. Remember, higher theta or greater theta is not a good thing when we purchase an option or when we own an option. So I recommend buying calls and puts with plenty of time until expiration. Between 3 and 6 months is my preference, but you can go even longer, of course. If you have more money to spend, you can buy even more time premium than that. Options for high volatility stocks or ETFs, commodities, or whatever tend to have higher theta than options for low volatility stocks. So I recommend buying calls and puts when volatility is low. The third thing you can do, options that are nearest to the money. In other words, the strike price is close to the current price of the stock or whatever, and particularly at the money options will typically have the highest theta. So I recommend buying calls and puts that are in the money instead of at the money. Okay, and the further in the money, really, the better. Within certain limits. You don't have to go too far into the money, but if you can go a couple of strikes in the money, that can reduce the theta, which will benefit you as an options purchaser or owner. At least in the money can be better than at the money. And finally, using vertical debit spreads, which a very simplified explanation is buying a more expensive option and then also selling a less expensive option with the same expiration date and for the same underlying asset, for the same stock or whatever. Using vertical debit spreads can reduce the effect of time decay even more. Okay, and you can do one of these things or a combination. In fact, oftentimes I'll do all four of these things in order to reduce the negative impact of theta or time decay when I purchase an option. So here's the takeaway. Time decay isn't your friend when you're buying options. It is not your friend. If you stick to these guidelines, however, you can make theta less of a factor in your options value. And if you'd like help with buying options or stocks, or just if you want to put together a trading plan or an investing plan, I can assist you with that. My name is David Modell, and my email address is davidmodell, and the last name is spelled Moadel, at gmail.com. And you can email me anytime, and I'll be sure to get back to you, if you want some help with this. Now, if you also want to support my channel, please feel free to subscribe, and you'll get first access to the latest video content that I'm happy to put out there. Also, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a comment. I enjoy your comments. And again, you can contact me anytime. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.